They sell you a dream, right? An app that makes parenting easier. A tool to track every feeding, every nap, every single diaper. But what if the whole thing isn't about helping you raise your baby at all? What if it's about helping them build the perfect customer?
So I did something completely unhinged. I decided to find out what's really going on. For the next 30 days, I'm on a mission to raise a digital baby from conception all the way to its first birthday, using nothing but the most popular parenting apps on the market. The goal? To see if you can really use data to create the perfect child, or if this whole experiment is just going to completely, utterly break me.
And you got to understand, this isn't some niche little hobby. We are talking about a global parenting app market that is set to be worth $1.3 billion by 2030. That is a billion-dollar industry built on your anxiety and your data.
And after going through this digital hellscape, I can tell you one thing for sure. There is a reason they're making so much money. And this is the side of baby apps they hope you never, ever see.
Look, if watching me slowly lose my mind in the name of investigative journalism sounds like your kind of entertainment, do me a huge favor and smash that subscribe button. And then head down to the comments and tell me what ridiculous financial challenge I should take on next. All right, let's do this.
Welcome to my laboratory, which is, just my apartment. The billion-dollar baby experiment is officially a go. I've got my phone, a truly questionable amount of coffee, and absolutely zero real-world parenting experience. What could possibly go wrong?
So here's the insane battle plan. We are crushing 1 year of a baby's life into just 30 days. Day 1, conception, brought to you by fertility apps. By day 5, we're already deep into the first trimester. Day 15 is the main event, the birth. That is when the data logging chaos really kicks into high gear. And it's all leading up to day 30, which I've already labeled the meltdown. I've got a feeling that's not going to be an exaggeration.
Okay, phase 1. To track a baby, you kind of need a baby. Or in my case, a digital one, conjured into existence by an army of apps that promise to optimize the entire messy, wonderful process of creating a human being.
And I hit my first roadblock, like, immediately. As a guy, these apps were not made for me. Over on the left, you see the mom experience. Soft colors, flowers, tons of tracking features. And on the right, that's the app experience for dad. It's just a blank space. The apps basically said, hey, thanks for your help, man. We'll take it from here. Go watch sports or something.
So my digital pregnancy was just this relentless storm of notifications comparing my fetus to various items from the produce aisle. Congratulations, your baby is the size of a poppy seed. Then a week later, your fetus is now the size of a fig. To be honest, it was less informative and more just making me hungry. I was trying to build a digital human, and all it was doing was building my grocery list.
But after the digital birth on day 15, the fruit comparison stopped. Oh yeah, the real work began. Welcome to the infant tracking stage, where every single move must be logged and quantified. This, my friends, is where you stop being a parent and start being a data analyst.
My day is just dissolved into this frantic cycle of data entry. Log the feed. What time did it start? How many milliliters? Log the diaper. Was it wet, dirty, or the dreaded both? I felt like a detective investigating tiny crimes. Log the nap, start time, end time, and then rate its quality. What does that even mean? And then you do it again and again, forever.
And this chart is basically my cry for help. It says it all. I spent maybe 20% of my time thinking about the idea of parenting, and a solid 80% just logging data about parenting. I wasn't a caregiver. I was a glorified admin for a tiny, demanding, and completely fictional CEO.
142. That's the number that almost sent me over the edge. 142 digital diapers. That's how many times I had to stop my life to input data about the imaginary bowel movements of my imaginary child. This isn't parenting. This is a special kind of madness.
And right there, in that moment of diaper-induced insanity, it all clicked. This industry isn't selling a parenting tool. It's selling a project management tool. It takes your child, a human being, and turns them into a project that needs to be optimized. And it turns you, the parent, into the project manager, just chasing KPIs and staring at dashboards.
Okay, so my little experimental breakdown was, mostly for show. But the problem underneath it all is dangerously real. Because what's happening behind the screen with all that data you're so carefully logging, that's the real story. And that's where the actual academic research starts to paint a much, much darker picture.
So there's this key concept called datafication. It's a fancy word for a really simple, kind of terrifying idea, turning every single piece of your child's life into a digital data point. I like to call it the permanent data tattoo. Every kick in the womb, every nap, every single diaper you log gets etched into a digital profile that can be bought and sold, a tattoo your child never ever consented to getting.
And this digital resume, it starts being written before your kid is even born. Research from Veronica Barassi shows that things like the conception date, the fetal heart rate, even possible names you're thinking about, your family's medical history, and your own private Google searches are all being collected. You are literally building a digital file on a person who doesn't even exist yet. And as Barassi's work points out, these aren't just random facts floating in the cloud. All this data gets pulled together into these complex online profiles that start to tell a story that speaks for your child. These little data points are being woven into a permanent record that could one day affect everything from their insurance rates to the ads they see, long before they have any say in it.
Which brings us to the real conflict at the heart of all these apps. It's a choice every parent is making, whether they realize it or not. Are you actually being a parent, or are you being turned into a data profiler for your own kid?
So these are the two paths, right? This is the choice. On one side, you've got the goal they sell you, empowerment. You use the app as just one little tool to help your own gut feelings. In that world, you are in control. But on the other side is the huge risk, what researchers call discipline. That's when you let the app's data and alerts completely replace your own judgment, making you anxious and turning you back into that data entry clerk. In that world, the app is in control.
Which leaves us with one final and honestly kind of haunting question. When you meticulously log every single detail of your child's life into a system owned by $1 billion company, are you really helping raise your child? Or are you just providing free labor to train the very same algorithm that's going to be used to profile, predict, and market to them for the rest of their lives? Something to think about.